Good morning, Winter Haven. I'm Zach.
And I'm Tyler.
And I'm Delaney.
And I'm Damien.
And you're watching a special 70s edition of BDTV for Thursday, February 20th, 2014.
Coming up on today's show, we'll see what you know about the 70s and the history of the 70s.
Hey McCree, did you know that in 1970 gas was only 36 cents per gallon?
You know I didn't, but that's pretty cool.
Well, now that you know that, we can definitely start today's announcements.
We should, and the Blue Devil Drama Club will be holding singing auditions for their spring musical Nonsense on February 24th and February 25th. Acting auditions will be held on February 26th and 27th, and all auditions will begin at 1:45 in the auditorium.
Well, you know, you should definitely audition for the acting part because you're a great actor.
I am a great actor.
And congratulations to Alex Trudeau and Victoria Denmark for getting the Elk Scholarship. Great job, guys.
And the Art Club and Media Center are sponsoring a contest, It Came From a Book. This invites you to create a piece of art inspired by a book that you have read. The artwork may be 2D or 3D, visual art, music composition, or a dramatic performance.
Now let's go, Emily, for our SAT question of the day.
Thanks, Keegan and McCree. Now for today's SAT question. The addition of descriptive details to the basic information serves to blank the book by producing a fuller account. Is it A, invalidate, B, objectify, C, incite, D, celebrate, or E, enrich? Stay tuned for the end of the show for the answer.
1970 to 1979 was a very eventful decade. There was new presidents, new music, new fashion, and even new technology. But the 70s was way before the students at Winter Haven High School's time. I'm Brian with BDTV. Let's go see what our students really know about the 70s.
What war do you think the U.S. was involved in the 1970s?
The Cold War?
The U.S. deployed their troops into Vietnam in 1965 and did not officially withdraw until 1973. What do you think was the population of the world in 1970?
4.5 billion?
2.3 billion people.
The U.S. population in 1970 was 3.7 billion. Since then, it has nearly doubled to 7.2 billion. Who was the president of the United States in 1970?
Well, I believe it was Richard Nixon.
Richard Nixon was the 37th president of the United States. He was in office from 1969 until 1974, when he resigned to avoid impeachment. What do you think was the average cost of a car in 1970?
$13,000. $4,000.
In 1970, you could buy a brand new car for about $4,000. I wish we could buy new cars for that much today.
It looks like some of our students need to brush up on their history. The 70s introduced a brand new way of thinking to not only the American people, but to the world. It was a majorly influential decade and should be remembered by all. This has been Brian with BDTV. Stay groovy, Winter Haven.
Here's a fun fact. In the 1970s, tuition at Harvard was only $2,400 a year.
That means I could actually afford Harvard. And speaking of colleges, the scholarship bulletin is out, so see Ms. Bachman for more information. Well, I'm a senior, so I know I'll definitely be checking that out.
And we want to congratulate the following students for being nominated for the Youth Impact Leadership Program: TJ Wyatt, Makia Mendoza, Hadley Owens, Charlie Reynolds, Andrews Julian, and Grace Hamilton.
And we are now into our second week of Pasta for Penny, so keep bringing donations into your 5th period class. All donations go towards people who are sick with blood cancers like leukemia and lymphoma. This drive ends February 26th. Now I think Courtney has some more interesting facts about the 1970s, so let's go see what she has to say.
With each passing year in the 1970s came more events that would go down in history. Let's take a look at some of the most important ones. In 1970, the Beatles see their last day with one another. On a more positive note, April 22nd marks the first Earth Day. In 1971, televised cigarette ads are banned, the voting age becomes 18, and President Nixon ends the gold standard of our currency. 1972 brings the Watergate scandal and the re-election of President Nixon. On September 5th, the Olympic Games are attacked by terrorists. The U.S. ends direct involvement in Vietnam in 1973, and in addition to this, Skylab launches the United States' very first space station. On a less political note, Hank Aaron breaks Babe Ruth's record in 1974 with 715 home runs. Bill Gates founds Microsoft in 1975. Amazingly, President Ford survives not one, but two assassination attempts in the same year. In the following year, Jimmy Carter is elected president, but it is not until 1977 that he's inaugurated. This same year, the first home PC is released and Elvis dies. In 1978, Volkswagen becomes the second automobile plant in the United States. The U.S. also releases control of the Panama Canal this year. The closing of this decade brings several tragedies. In 1979, the Iranian hostage crisis made news. The U.S. receives more bad news when American airline flight 191 crashes, killing all on board, including some on the ground, and becomes the most fatal airline accident in history. The 1970s added countless memorable events to American history. We should look back and reflect on these important moments. However, it is equally important that we focus on the world we're living in today. We should make it our goal to make our own contributions to society because the actions we make today are what shape the future of the world.
Hey Alyssa, did you know that the minimum wage in the 70s was $2.50?
Wow, it's a good thing that went up since then.
I agree, and today's SAT question is, the addition of descriptive details to the basic text serves to blank the book by producing a fuller account.
Was it A, invalidate, B, objectify, C, incite, D, celebrate, or E, enrich?
The answer was E, enrich. Enrich means to expand or further enhance something.
This month's key to character is compassion. Compassion is the deep awareness of the suffering of others coupled with the wish to relieve it.
That was some deep stuff, Alyssa.
It was.
And that's it for today, Winter Haven. I'm Bryce.
And I'm Melissa.
And you have yourself a groovy day.